All right. So thank you for joining me this afternoon. Today we are going to be reviewing how to proof and submit pages in the Memory Book Online program. This webinar is approximately going to take about 20 to 30 minutes. And here you will be able to review the topics we are covering today in the manual, starting around page 186 under the Creation and Design section. Um, so the first thing that we'll kind of do is when we go to submit pages, there's a couple of different areas in the program where we can start this complete and review process. Where I'm starting off first here in the program is just here of how you can wrap things up here in the page designer. So I'm going to jump over to one of my pages that we've been working on that had a whole bunch of little things here to catch. Um, all right, so when we're on a page and we're ready to complete and submit it, we're just going to go through the steps on how to bring up the pre-flight panel. That will show us, if there's any issues on the page, but it also has those buttons to submit the page in that. So when you're on the page designer, here in the bottom right corner, you'll see this little 2-button toggle that is here. If you click on the top button of this, it will bring up the comment and pre-flight panel that is here. So it first starts up on the comments side. Now, if we click over to the little triangle icon, this is going to bring up the pre-flight side of things. And the pre-flight panel is going to show us our information about the page. This is where we're going to run spell check. This is where we can proof pages. Down below, this is where we can mark a page complete. Now, in these areas that are right here by the pages, this is going to be the area where if there is any issue with a page, it'll show right here, and each page number will then over to the side. If you have a number that's 0 and there's nothing right here, that is letting us know that there are no issues with that page. And for page 13, we can actually, with no issues, we can actually come down and mark it complete. And they'll put it at this submit status here. Now, the good thing about the complete status, now as if you are logged in with an advisor role login, only advisors have the ability to put a page back in progress. So if you do complete a page and find that you need to make changes later, you're able to click return. This will you'll see the little status color here change from green back to yellow, lets you know it's in progress. You're able to make any of those changes. Now, if we click on page 12 here, it's showing us 3. So if I click here, here it's going to show us that we have a few different issues that it has. The first one is an image element remains unedited. That usually tells us that there's an empty photo box on the page somewhere. A text element has text that may not fit. The text issues like this are generally indicated by a red X over a text box there on the page. And a text element remains unedited. So somewhere here on this page, we have an empty text box. Now, the neat thing about when it shows these errors here, if we click on these errors, the program is going to highlight where those are on the page. So if this image element example here, we see that, okay, this empty photo box is behind this photo. Now, with this selected, you can go ahead and just hit your backspace key or your delete key on your keyboard, and that'll take that away easily like that. Now, for some of those that may not be comfortable with just having it selecting and deleting it, sometimes people need to see whatever that element is before they take it out. So another thing you can do is when you have it highlighted like this, when you select it and it highlights on the page, you are able to you can come up to the arrange drop down that's kind of in the upper right, and under the arrange drop down, come down here and just do bring to front to kind of bring that forward. And Now that that's brought forward, sometimes that makes people feel a little more comfortable just to remove an item from a page. They can see it, they're for sure know what it is, and we can hit delete to get rid of it. Now we've gotten rid of it, but it's still showing up over here on the pre-flight menu. Um, for that to be resolved, just once you get that issue done, I'm just going to go up here and hit save. And now that I have saved, it is now no longer showing um, as an issue that we need to take care of. So we'll just go on to the next one here that we have. So we've got a text element has text that may not fit. So this is more or less talking about our kind of our text issues. And a lot of these you'll see with the red X issue that we have here. So what would cause a red X in a text box? A couple of different things. Um, One is it could be that not all of the text inside of that text box is showing. So we've got hidden type in that box. So if we select the box and if we grab the bottom middle handle, start to bring that down, oh, we found some hidden type. But now we still have the red X. So I know I've got it saying fixed here, but we're not quite fixed yet. We're only fixed when the red X goes away. So what would also be causing this X to still be here? Well, if we bring it back down, we keep bringing this further, we notice after a certain point, the X goes away. So another thing that can cause a red X is extra spacing within the text box. So if you've got this pulled down, X goes away. If you want to see if there's extra spacing, if you're able to put a cursor below your last line of type, that'll let you know that you have that extra spacing. And then you can just backspace that extra spacing out. And we're going to shore up our text box back to where we are. And now we have fixed our red X issue. Um, so again, with the red X issues, it's either, not all the type is showing, just like we covered that word up, or there could be extra spacing under your last line of type that you just need to backspace out. So that's how we're going to take care of issues like that. And again, once you get an issue resolved, just go up and hit save, and you'll see that clear off your list. Now, some other little tricky things that you may see going through your book. This one here, a text element remains unedited. So if we, looking around the page, you may not, sometimes people will see this, they're looking around the page, they can't I don't see any text boxes anywhere. Not sure where it could be. Let's click on our issue to highlight where that is on the page. And then we see it's highlighting right down here in this corner. Kind of zoom in on that here a little bit, and we notice that there is a little text box with black lettering that is right over the student's kind of rose, black and red shirt here. And it really blends into that. Even zoomed in, that's hard to see there. So just by glancing through the book, that's something that can be easily missed in review. But here, just use your pre-flight tool to highlight where that is. We can go ahead and hit delete to remove it. And then we're going to hit save. Okay, so we have now, I'm just going to adjust this back to fit here. Okay, so now we have resolved all of our different text issues here on this page. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Now, one thing I was doing earlier, now that I may have to refresh or go out to another part of the program, I had previously worked on this page, so it may not be giving me the options here to complete and submit. So I'm going to actually go to page 13 here. And since we don't have any issues left, and we've marked the page as complete, so with 13 completed, the next steps that are in the process of completing a page, here on the pre-flight panel, just to go down, you'll want to run spell check. Now, spell check, when we bring this up, spell check is something that is going to be ran on each page spread, and it's looking for um, common misspellings. So here for this, it caught the word candidates didn't have an A, so it will give you suggestions. Sometimes this red line that you're seeing here, it is not a formatting thing. It's not anything that's print. It's just an on-screen visual that the spell check is saying this may not be right. A lot of times we will see this with a lot of people's names, just their first names or last names. When you get to through, and if spell check catches any of those, um, if it is actual word that you need to change, go ahead and hit change. And we're going to go ahead and change that. Now it has no more suggestions. We're going to run spell check again here. Okay. Now if the if it is a name that is caught that is there, um, the name's all right. Just hit ignore, and it'll move on to the next item that it has caught. So definitely, you will run this on every page, and if you feel like it needs to go to that, go ahead and hit change. Otherwise, if it's a name, it needs to stay the way it is. Just hit ignore. And actually, on that one, I'm going to go back and change that. Okay. All right. So here we have our spell check done for this. Now the last thing to do here would be to hit proof page. And what this is is just part of the step where we're gonna save our changes, and it's gonna bring up a PDF proof of that page for review that you can either save digitally down to your computer or print these out for anyone else to review there. Where is that? There it is. Okay. All right. Now, before I go kind of much further on what we're doing on here, so after you did get everything done, you've spell checked, you've proved. I removed. Apparently, I didn't hit save earlier on that. But for here, it wants me to do this. I left the page. It wants me to do that again. And now that I have met the conditions for running spell check, or I've taken care of any issues, I've run spell check, I've done the PDF proof. Now it will allow me to come down and hit the submit button to send that page in. Now, one thing that we do suggest is when you are reviewing or completing, reviewing, and submitting pages, before you submit any of them, what we suggest is go through and make sure that you can get all your pages to a completed status. The reason for that is just when you're at a completed status, it's in a locked state. But if you do see any corrections or changes or adjustments that you need to make, you can easily hit the return button, and that will unlock the page, put it back in progress, and you're able to make those changes easily, and then go back, save, and complete the page again. If you end up going through and fully submitting those pages and then finding out, oh, I need to make changes like this, once a page is submitted on your end, you're not able to return it. So if something like that happens, you would then have to call into us. Now, if it is before your due date, we would be able to unlock those pages for you or unsubmit them. When we unsubmit a page for you, sometimes it can take as little as 10 minutes. Sometimes it can take as long as an hour or so. And that's just depending how many people are on the site at the time and trying to get pages to submit. So that is why, and it would take a longer for us to get a page quickly back to you to make those changes. So that's kind of why we do suggest, make sure get them all at a completed status. That way, if you do catch something, you can put it in, return it, make your changes, complete it again, and then keep rolling. And that way, you wouldn't have to kind of wait for extended amount of time to get just one page back to you. So from here, this is how we're going to wrap things up here in the in the page designer. Um, Now, one thing I am going to do here is I'm going to go back. The other place that you can submit and proof your pages is on the page ladder. So I'm going to go there next. I'm going to go under plan. I'll go to page ladder. And let's see, find my pages here. So back on here, you can see I'd already submitted this one on a previous day, but I left this one here for us to show today to kind of go over what buttons you'll click here on the page ladder if you want to submit your pages from here. So when looking at a page, on the page ladder, right up above the page, if you're ready to complete it, you'll see this little purple button here, and just click on it. And it'll say page status and updates and page complete, and you just hit OK. Now, if I'm going to go up here, actually I'm going to go to one of these pages that has some empty stuff. So from the page ladder, if you click on a page, go to hit complete on a page. What is that telling us? Oh, it's in progress. And it is. There we go. I'm trying to find one with errors here. Okay, so it was wanting to bring me here to show all the errors that were there. So we can just hit OK. So it's not going to let me complete this page because I have a whole bunch of stuff going on here. So that's the one thing. If there is any empty element on a page, it's not going to complete it. It'll let you know what it is or take you to that page to get there. But back to our page that we are working with here on the ladder. All right, now after you hit complete, here is where you'll also see a submit and return button that is here. Down below is your view PDF button that is here. So if we click on this, it'll put it back in return for us. We can hit complete. And then when we're ready to submit it, normally we should probably hit view PDF here first. And that, again, if we click on this, it's just going to bring up a PDF proof of that page. But then you can also hit submit right here to send that page in. Now, between the two, you can submit and complete and review in either spot. I think the one benefit to submitting in the page designer as opposed to here is when you're in the page designer, you can bring up that preview panel that will easily kind of show you, what issues you have with the page. And when you click on those issues, it easily spots them to where you can fix them easily. Whereas if you're completing and submitting here on the page ladder, if you do run across something or a page is saying that it failed to complete, you still have to go back to that design page to make those changes. But I mean, if you've already gone through and made all your changes, made all your corrections, you have everything at a completed status, ready to hit that submit button, then probably I would more likely come here to the page ladder. That way I can either do some actions where I can do a select all, and under actions, if everything was complete, everything taken care of, everything has been a PDF proof, you could come here, do a select all, do actions, and then submit, and that would submit all your pages at once. Now you are still able to go through here and do them individually, but if you you know for certain you've got everything ready to rock and roll, then do these actions and hit submit. That'll submit your pages all at one time. Now, if there are any pages that um, maybe within that process you've maybe skipped over a page, didn't proof it, um, that process will skip over that one. It will let you know if it did not submit all the pages, and then you would just go down, check that one page individually, and submit it. Submit it individually using the buttons right up above the page. Um, so that's just the two different areas they're going through. Now, while we were in the page designer, we kind of showed you there how you can generate proofs and get, you can then bring those down. Here in the page ladder, you got your little view PDF button that is here. One other neat thing that is here is sometimes, like if you may have kind of a school administrator come in and principal, vice principal, any kind of admin, and ask, hey, can we get a full book proof of the yearbook for review? We do have that function. So here in the page ladder, what you'll do is actually come under the print drop down, and you're going to do print all. Now with print all, when you select that, what it's going to do is the program is going to then go through and it's going to start generating a full book proof of your yearbook. Now this proof is going to be low to medium resolution. So again, it's just for proofing purposes. It's not going to reflect the true and final quality of what that is. But it's a very nice little handy tool. Full book PDF proof you can download. It may take a few minutes to generate, but eventually it'll have one there to where you can either print it out or save it digitally. Now, when getting it to that person that needs to review it, of course, you print it out, you're going to hand it to them, but if they need it sent to them digitally, we will let you know that PDF it's going to be too large to email. So if you have something like a Dropbox or a Google Drive account or a Microsoft OneDrive account, it would be easier to post it there and then share it to whoever that is to need to review. But definitely another good review tool that is right here. So just do your print all for a full book proof. And so after everything has been reviewed, everything has been completed, you've marked submit on everything, definitely make sure that you are reviewing your pages in that. Things that we're going to be looking out for or we're not looking out for. Most of your time, your book is it's a print as submitted product. So when you're reviewing your pages, definitely make sure you've got everything within the margin lines that you need. You don't have things that are going to get trimmed off in the bleed, which is that outer edge of the page. Like here, let me just jump on a page here real quick. So just make sure that you don't have certain elements that are out here in this bleed area that are here. Majority of your content you'll want to keep here within the blue margins. But there are some things that we are looking out for, and that's when we're looking at your class pages when they come in, we're making sure that for every student picture there is a name to go along with that student. If there's ever a mismatch there, that is something that that could put your book on hold. Other things to look out for is how visible your type is on a page. So if you have dark backgrounds throughout your pages, make sure you're using lighter colors, lighter colors that contrast well against that, and vice versa. So if you have light backgrounds, make sure you're using dark type, so that means it really sticks out and you can see it. Some examples of things that don't work well are Oh, busy backgrounds. Another thing that we'll look at is busy backgrounds. And by that is if I come in here to, let me just jump under some clip art stuff here real quick. Let me toss something like here on. So busy backgrounds and stuff like this. One thing that you can do to help your type, um, I'm going to bring up the change background tool here real quick. So one thing you can do to make lettering pop and down on your backgrounds is you might tint your backgrounds here, and that way it brings focus back to your text. Um, Another thing to kind of watch out for, let me get a script font here, is script fonts over really busy areas tend to be hard to see. So either make sure that your background is light enough, make sure, you can also make sure that you're, depending on what font you have used, make sure it's there, it could be bold, or at least something where it can stand out well and doesn't get lost within there. But these are just some things to kind of look out for when getting, when submitting. So once you have submitted all your pages, so here are the things that we're going to be looking out for. So after submitting your pages, please email your customer rep to let them know you've submitted all your pages. When we put the book into production, you will receive a confirmation email with all the specifications of your book. If you see a mistake, we ask that you let us know right away. Even if you're working, that night, submit at night, notice something a little bit later, definitely give us a call that, first thing in the morning. So because once a book is put into production, there may be a charge to stop it. And also, once a book is in production, sometimes it can move through quick. So depending on where that is in the process, we're not sure, or if we're able to stop it at that time or have to redo, but let us know as soon as possible. That way we can track that book, get it stopped, and see if there is something we can do to help out that situation. And then from there, really, you'll receive an invoice about 10 days after submission for that. And then really after that, it's you're sitting back and you're waiting for the books. They go through the printing process here. They get printed. They go through production to the bindery people. They'll go through shipping, and then that'll be come through a truck to your school, and then kids will have their books. So we're all looking forward to that day when they get their books. So at this time, I don't know if there is any questions that we have over, completing, proofing, and submitting pages. But before I wrap things up, if there are any questions, feel free. If you want to unmute or put something in the chat, I could definitely, address those quick and then go from there.
That sounds great. That was some great information. Thank you. I do have one question, and it's in regards to moving pages.
Okay.
I just started, working on page after page after page. Is it possible to copy just one page of the two and move just one page, or does everything have to go as double pages?
No, you are able to move single pages. So here I am just in my demo, my page mover. Um, by
Okay.
by default, it does the 2-page spreads. Um, but up here in the top right corner, there's this little toggle here. Click that over to where it goes from the double to the single,
Ah, perfect.
and then you're able just to move a single page, and then all that other stuff shift around it.
That's great. That's exactly what I was looking for. Like I said, I've been working on double pages, but let's just say some grade level photos run into a third page. I was working on them somewhere else and I just wanted to move that one page. Perfect. That answers that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Um,
Yeah, and if you do record this, I'm sure I'll refer back to it in regards to the submission, but that's a lot of very good information. Thank you very much.
you're welcome. All right. And yeah, that was yeah, we are recording this and it's going, but great question there on this. We do get quite a bit of that, so definitely we'll answer this one every time just to help people out. Um, all right, so um, that is pretty much all that we had for some, completing, reviewing, the final stages in Memory Book Online. So again, thank you very much for joining me this afternoon. And I hope our webinar has helped reduce the stress of submitting your yearbook pages. If you have any questions or have a problem arise, please feel free to call technical support and we can be reached at 1-877 302 3140. Or you can send us an email at memorybooktechsupport@jostens.com, or simply feel free to reach out to your customer service rep. We can all help you out here. So we all look forward to receiving your books and enjoy seeing all the creative ideas. So have a great
Thank you.
rest of your afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. You as well. Thanks a lot.
All right. Take care, everyone. All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.